Ladies and gentlemen, excuse me, folks, if I could have your attention, please. Ladies and gentlemen, if I could just have your attention. Excuse me, folks, good evening. Welcome to the Kia World Class Awards this evening. Could we all start making our way to our seats, please? Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Welcome. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Kia World Class events. Could I please ask you to find your seats, make your way to your seating arrangements. Yes, keep coming through. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, 1, 2, 3. If I could just have your attention, folks. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Thank you. If we could all make our way to our seats. Please keep coming through. Thank you.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you. How are you?
Thanks for doing tonight.
Thank you. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you, folks. Still one or two of you standing up. Can we all please find our seats? Ladies and gentlemen, we are about to commence the evening. Could we all find our seats, please?
It's an impossible task.
It is, isn't it? Yeah, that'll be great.
They'll stop that.
Not 50 grand? 50. Tēnei au ko te uri a manu ko te aitanga tiki he matakahi e ka hiki ahu mai te koanga tapu a te whare a te manuka o te whare kura manu kapua. Tēnei au hoa atu nei hokai a wai whanāringa hikoi a te whetu, hikoi a te marama. Whano, hara mai te toki. Hui e! Kei ngā manu taki, ngā manu taiko, ngā manu taupua kua tau iho nei. Nei ngā kahu pōkere, ngā kahu o takapara whau, te mihi atu nei, te whakatau nei. Kei ngā waka o e nā iwi katoa te motu. Herea mai koutou ki te pouwhakaero o te waitamata ngā papaki ngā tai o mihi ki a koutou. Haere mai, haere mai rā. Ki te hukua tika koutou ngā tuki mata whaorua, te whare o ngā pui. Haere mai, nei, te iwi, no te tai tokerau, tātou nei. Haere mai, piki mai. Tauiho mai koutou konei, ki tō mātou nei, whenua Ngāti Whātu e mihi nei. Ka huri taku titiro, ki te tūātea te huro, o te hau wāuru, koutou waikato. Here mai, Ngāti Maneopoto, here mai, koutou taranaki maunga. Tāpua mai ki tēnei, te hikurangi o maunga kia e mihi atu nei. Rukuhia ki rote ngā roto, te arawa waka. Ngāti ronga mai, tēnei ka mihi ki tā Toby Curtis. Mātou nei, kua whakaeki ki tō marae. O raka e au, tēnei o raka e mihi atu nei, e te rangatira haere. Ka mātai aku titiro ki a koutou te tai rāwhiti. Mai mau au, taino atu ki te matau a mau e koutou, tūronga tara, here mai ki poko whiti a te rā o Ngāti Whātu e mihi atu nei. Kekeo atu au ki a koutou tūpoko o te ika. Te awa, toa rangatira, Ngāti Raukawa, haere mai. Ka whiti au ki a koutou ki te kōtuhi o ngā maunga. O te waka a mau i te wai paunamu. Piki mai, haere mai ki tēnei pō, nui whakaharahara. Ka huri ki a koe te whānau kukutai ko tai mai, nei tō pō. Ngāti Whātu mihi atu ki a koutou. Me ngā iwi e tautoko ana ki tō tuki o te ao. Piki mai here mai koutou me ngā mātanga o te ao pakihi. O te ao pūtaia, o te ao mahitoi, o te ao ohanga here mai ki a mātou nei anei Ngāti Whātua. E mihi atu nei, ngā raparapa, ngā maihi, o tumutumu whenua e mihi atu nei, haere mai. I'm just going to change to from Māori channel to channel 1. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Ngāti Whātua, it's an honour and privilege to welcome all visitors here tonight. Welcome especially the visitors from afar to our town, of our great city of Ngāti Whātua, Tāmaki Makaurau, haere mai. We established this city, this great city, through conquest and continual occupation. And then with our great chiefs and Governor Hobson, this city sprung in the riu, in the valleys of the volcanoes and at the side of our beautiful harbour of Te Waitemata. This stunning city, this is our city, and we love it. And we also want you to be proud of it as proud Aucklanders and enjoy the evening tonight. This land has always been a district that has had amazing vibrancy, wealth, culture, competition and success. To make it here, I believe you can make it anywhere. And we welcome those Kiwis from near and afar and those who have reached the amazing heights, and we celebrate their success tonight as they are recognised at the 2022 Kia Awards. There's so many dignitaries here and also friends of our tribe here tonight. Phil Veal, tēnā koe e kara, te tia mana, o te poari o Kia. You've been instrumental in embedding Māori culture into the awards, and it's been our pleasure for the past almost 10 years to be here standing on stage tonight. Tony Truslove, CEO of Kia, tēnā koe. The Right Honourable Helen Clark, Premier o mua, noho koe ki te maunga whau, tēnā koe. Ministers Nash and O'Connor, tēnā kōrua. And indeed, iwi leaders, business leaders of Aotearoa, mai tēnā pito, ki tērā pito, tēnā koutou, tēnā tātou katoa.
Mahu ki te rangi wai kare tū ana te moana o kai para I whakatau ki hia ai ki te kōrero takahuri waka whakarere wā i te kia kakeo i te taumata o puke karoro hei reira pūrea ai i ngā hamuta whiri mā te katauri atura ki ngā hiwi hiwi kai tara wera kai o takariri o kuko iwi a takoto maira kia pā kuringa ki te pau whakaero tu ti wai te mata koia I mata ki te hia ai e tita ka unu au I ngā puna wai hata hi pupa kore hi koe tonu atu ki maunga whau ki maunga kie tēnā hoa nā ngā tūpuna ka hoki nei a ki tōku kāinga ki harake ko te purua tāmaki ko tumutumu whanua ngā whare ka te whātua te iwi ngā kure pure pure o tāmaki he kore ngaro I te hina pōuri e
And with that, I'd like to welcome Phil Veal to the stage. Mai te paki mā Phil Veal. Me te pōnei. Kurino.
E ngā mana, e ngā reo, e rauranga tira mā, ki te iwi kāinga, Ngāti whātua o Rakei, ka nui te mihi. Renata korua ko Precious, tēnā korua, tēnā korua. E te kahurangi rangi maari e Naida Glavish, tēnā koe. Kia koutou o Tainui Waka, kia koutou ngā iwi o te motu, o te rā koutou o ngā iwi hau e whā. Tēnā koutou. Tēnā koutou katoa kua hui mai nei I runga I te whakawhanaongatanga. Ati hei Māori ora. The Minister for Trade and Export Growth, the Honourable Damien O'Connor, Minister for Economic Development, the Honourable Stuart Nash, Leader of the Opposition, Christopher Luxon, and the Right Honourable Helen Clark, Kia co-founder Sir Stephen Tyndall, Lady Margaret, Kia World Class New Zealand Award winners, ladies, gentlemen, folks, welcome one and all. I started by acknowledging Ngāti Whātua o Orakei, the kaitiaki or guardians of this special place where we're celebrating tonight. We're grateful for the long-standing relationship that Kia enjoys with Ngāti Whātua. And a big thank you both to the team for the pōwhiri, Renata, and to Precious for the karanga. Thank you. I also acknowledge Kahurangi Dame Naida Glavish, who unfortunately can't be with us tonight. I welcome all of you in the room and to those who are watching around the world tonight. Morena, London. Welcome in the spirit of whakawhanaongatanga, which is about making connections. Thank you to our partners who you will hear from and see during the evening. And thank you to our judges, Dame Roseanne Mayo, Jennifer Kerr, New Zealand Trade and Enterprise Chair, both of whom are with us tonight, and also Dame Patsy Reddy, Sir Jerry Mataparai, and Perry Drysdale. A big thank you also to the Kia team who've produced this event for us tonight, and a big thank you to Kia's Chief Executive Tony Truslove, who you'll be hearing from very soon. It is fantastic to see everyone here tonight. And we're here tonight because 20 years ago, Sir Stephen Tyndall and Professor David Teese asked a simple question. It was a question about the potential of Aotearoa. And it was something like this. We're a nation of 5 million people here at home, 1 million people around the world, a borderless nation of 6 million, if you like. What would happen if we could connect them all? That is Kia's mission. For a nation of explorers and exporters, that ability to connect around the world has always been at the foundation of our success. And it's never been more critical than in these challenging times. Our 2022 award winners, who you will meet tonight, have demonstrated the unique ability of Kiwi to connect, and they have used that as a superpower for the greater good. So I hope tonight that you too will make connections that help us all. Nō reira, tēnā koutou, tēnā rā tātou katoa. I'm pleased to welcome to the stage our MC for the evening, fresh from the warmth and the turmoil of Europe, nau mai rā, haere mai, Daniel Fautawa.
Thanks, man. Cheers. Boy, it's good to be home. That was an experience to try and get 700 people to try and take their seats. It's certainly different from number 10, certainly different from crossing several borders in Europe. But kia ora and good evening. It is great to have you with us here for the 2022 Kia World Class New Awards. Before I start, I'd like to thank Ngāti Whātua Ōrākei and of course Kia Global Chair Phil Veal for that wonderful welcome. Now my name is Daniel Faitawa. I will be your MC for this evening, and I get that this is all about connection, but also I'm asking you just to also give me your attention, because it can be very hard to get the attention of 700 people, and that way we can all leave and boogie from about 10:30 rather than 2 o'clock in the morning, where Kia is still paying the bill for this evening. So thank you very much. It's going to be a spectacular night where we recognise inspirational, world-leading Kiwis and friends of New Zealand, and above all, as I said, celebrate the spirit of Kiwi connection and our people, our country's greatest natural resource. Now, before we get any further, there are a few housekeeping rules, so bear with me. First, if we all can just grab our cell phones, everyone take your cell phone, and please put it on silent. The only thing we want to hear tonight is clapping rather than bells and whistles going on throughout the evening. And it's only for probably the next hour or so, then we can all make those phone calls and check on the babysitters and the children at home. For those in need of the bathrooms, just quickly, they're located on the end of each room here. For our friends who are smokers or vapors, look, simple rules, you can't smoke or vape inside here, so we do ask that you go outside. You can smoke on the wharf. In terms of the exit, that is located on the right. That is where you all came through this evening. Now, hopefully we won't have to use this, but a first aid kit is located against the wall behind the stairs. Now, I'm talking about the first aid kit, not the bar where the wine and the alcohol is being served. So please, if you do need that, do let staff know. That is on the main foyer on the ground floor, and another is in the office behind the partitions at the left end of this room. Now, also there's a defibrillator. That is not for fun, folks. That is not after you've had a few. You want to have a go on that and try a Grey's Anatomy moment. We don't need that. We don't need that. That'll be a story that will air tomorrow on TV1 News. So the defibrillator, if you do need it, it's located in the security hut out the front of the Cloud. And of course, I do find a staff member and they will help you with it. In the unlikely event of an emergency, do make your way to your nearest exit. venue staff and security. They'll be there to assist you. Please use the stairs and not the lift. Now, guests are requested to make their way to the red gates at the entrance to Queen's Wharf on Quay Street. And also, as you came up the stairs, you will have seen just down there's some big lights. That's our photo booth. It's an incredible set, and please do feel free during the break and in the evening to get your photos taken. These will be uploaded to our awards gallery consistently through the night. And you can access this gallery by scanning the QR code on the back of your menu on your table. And it's the table number that you've got there. And please share your favourite images on social media. And if you do, use the hashtag WCNZ 2022. Look, we are so thrilled to have you all here tonight to celebrate the very best of New Zealand's global Kiwi. For more than 20 years, Kia has nurtured this vibrant and diverse group of Kiwi who share a strong passion for Aotearoa and the success of its people and businesses. Kia's world-class community are a subset of our largest offshore community made up of around 600 Kiwi who make a huge impact across all sectors and corners of the world. And as a Kiwi myself who has spent the past 3 years offshore, I really understand the value and the ability to stay connected to New Zealand. As a journalist, connection is at the very heart of my job. Over the last 3 years, I've been privileged to connect with a number of Kiwi in a variety of locations, from the UK and into Ukraine. And it's there where I witnessed moments of humanity sing out. Kiwis here, Kiwis in London, all connecting me with Kiwis travelling into the conflict to help the millions displaced since Russia invaded Ukraine in February. Within the chaos and disruption, there were moments where I met Kiwis helping reunite families or help organise aid over the course of the conflict. And that made me feel even more proud to be a Kiwi. And that is how I was able to tell you those stories on the front line there in Ukraine. It was all through connection, connection, connection. Thank you. Now, before we get any further, we need to thank those who have contributed to help make tonight's awards a success. Firstly, our incredible wine partners. Tonight's wine, you can see on your table, has been provided by 6 different Kiwi companies. Doesn't mean you have to try all 6 different bottles, folks. Pick one, leisurely enjoy it throughout the evening, pace yourself. This is a different culture than the UK, so again, we don't want to make the news for all the wrong reasons this evening. Thank you to our beverage supporters and those Kiwi businesses who help make all parts of our awards evening possible, from the flowers to the hotel rooms for our winners, and of course the creation of the awards themselves. Finally, we'd like to thank our valued Kia partners, including our government partners, New Zealand Trade and Enterprise, the Ministry of Business, Innovation and Employment, and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Trade, who support us throughout the year. Without you, Kia's work would not be possible. So thank you very much. So our partners have always been a crucial part of Kia's success, and we'd like to share a few words from them now.
Aotearoa New Zealand is a country that's uniquely small and far away, and therefore we very much value our connectivity. We value our domestic connectivity and we value our international connectivity. And so the Kia people have become part of that woven strands of connectivity between us and the world. And now that we're reconnecting, they come into their importance even more.
Kia's world-class New Zealand network consists of Kiwis who lead and shape industries, and their value to New Zealand should not be underestimated. We do exceptionally well on the world stage, and Tātaki Auckland Unlimited is proud to be part of celebrating our global creativity, innovation and success.
As Kia's global education partner, we are thrilled and delighted to expand and strengthen our partnerships with our global communities in the service of some of the world's greatest challenges. There's no shortage of ideas Ideas travel at the speed of light, and it's with our inspiring students and our partnerships with Kia that we're able to achieve some of those ambitious goals that our students hope for when they enter our university.
Topham Gearin started as a small Kiwi company. We know what it's like to start a business and take it to the world. It's the cultural connection of Kiwi that will always set us apart. And that's why we're so proud to partner with Kia and tell the stories of our incredible global Kiwi and celebrate their success and ensure that they're part of a stronger New Zealand.
Maintaining a connection with our offshore community ensures that their incredible skills and experience continue to benefit New Zealand, either upon their return or from afar. These are highly skilled people who are committed to sharing that experience and knowledge with New Zealand. The ability to retain this talent is valuable to us, and we should celebrate how this community enriches Aotearoa.
Our partnership with Kia helps create a stronger New Zealand through connectivity, impact and care. We know Kiwi Offshore want to give back to New Zealand. Staying connected to the Kia community provides members with the opportunity to support Starship, our national children's hospital. Support Starship's ambitions to lead with equity, innovation and excellence to give our children better health and brighter futures.
Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome to the stage Kia Global CEO, Tony Truslove.
Just let you all get your starters. I'm sure you're looking forward to them. Maybe I'll... Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. We are here tonight to be inspired. Inspired by accomplishment, inspired by possibility. When we honour these remarkable New Zealanders here tonight, we're also reminding ourselves that what is possible can be so very much more than we may have believed, more than we may have been telling ourselves, more than we dared to hope. Kia is a community of hugely talented New Zealanders out in the world, shining, who are always ready to help a fellow Kiwi shine too. I know this to be true because I get to see it every day in my work. Our offshore Kiwi are a network of quiet power and huge possibility. Tonight we seek to profile this, to help make the possible real. Tonight connections will be made because we are a country that's small enough for everyone to be just 1 degree of separation. Big things come from connection, and because we are a country that says, I reckon we could give that a go. Or perhaps I should say, I hope that's how things will go. I've been out of the country over the last few weeks, and what I've been seeing and hearing has had me wondering, are we looking a little less bold right now? I've been watching the way the US and Europe have been picking themselves up after all they've been through. And I know the same to be true in Southeast Asia. They are absolutely throwing themselves into getting on. They are firmly on the move again. And I look back home, and my question is this. We've reopened our borders, but are we exploiting all that we have? Have we, each of us, stepped back into a global frame of mind? The Kia network circles the globe. We have thousands upon thousands of points of connection. They're standing by, ready to connect us to this world that's on the move again. They can absolutely patch us in. Every day from Chicago to Copenhagen, you will find people in that network picking up phones, opening doors. Inside the Worldwide Kiwi Network, there's a magnetic power that pulls people together. It is potent. You will hear from our winners this evening, and many of them will talk about the power of connection in their lives. Let me give you just one example from my recent travels. Last month, while I was in San Francisco, the Kiwi founder of an AI startup who had heard from another Kiwi that I would be there arrived at my hotel at 8 a.m. one morning to tell me he had flown from New Zealand just to meet people. He thought I would be a good conduit to help that, and he was absolutely right. He came along to my morning meetings, got time with world-class New Zealanders, and then I drove him over to Mountain View where he joined a tech community event. At that meeting, he found 15 more like-minded Kiwi explorers. Introductions like that can be truly business-changing, and they are not at all unusual within the Kia community. In fact, they are absolutely typical. My message tonight is to not underestimate the possibility, as demonstrated by our winners and by our wider offshore Kiwi community. No matter how little you might be right now, or how big a challenge you might be taking on, the world is on the move again. The energy out there is huge. Our potential to contribute and shine is stronger than ever, and we have more support to do this than we may realise. What I hope, as I look out across this room at all this quiet power and potential, is that every single person here tonight who has been thinking quietly, I reckon I could give that a go, will be saying to themselves, it's time to get out there and do this. Your instinct is absolutely right. It is time. Let's do it.
Thank you, Global CEO Tony Truslove. Tonight, we honour 6 world-class New Zealanders, as well as the Friend of New Zealand Award, recognising the significant contribution made to our country by someone who is not born here. And finally, the Supreme Award. But what actually makes a world-class New Zealander? Well, our 2022 award winners have been selected from our world-class network and represent those who've demonstrated the unique power of Kiwi connection and used it to the benefit of all of Aotearoa. We'd like to share with you a message from Kia co-founder Sir Stephen Tindall about the enduring legacy of the world-class New Zealand Awards, and then hear from some of our Kia judges about this year's nominees. Take a listen.
I think the world-class awards have endured for so long because they're so relevant. By giving away these awards, we were able to show the rest of the country exactly what our diaspora are doing in different parts of the world, but also to recognise the really great Kiwis here in New Zealand. So the theme of tonight being connection is still incredibly relevant to what we started 20 odd years ago.
The judging for Kia is probably one of the most difficult things you ever have to do because the calibre is so high. The candidates are incredibly diverse, different ages, different activities, working in different parts of the world, bringing different perspectives back on New Zealand, and so it's hard.
So I'm always looking for somebody who's, as a baseline, an acknowledged leader in their field, but that is giving back and advancing the awareness and mana of New Zealand.
Judging the awards is a really rigorous process. I found that I read the award nominations for each person multiple times, and then I ran through the criteria and marked everyone against it, and then I reviewed the marks that I'd given each person against each other to make sure I thought the order was right, and then did a sense check at the end.
Taking time out to step back, look at what these people are achieving, what the awards represent, has probably never been more critical. So I think it's not just about a celebration, it is about individual achievement and what that means for this country.
This is a magic crop of wonderful Kiwi, some of whom are emerging from relative obscurity tonight, who have done amazing things for New Zealand and for the world, and help cement New Zealand's place as being good, not good in the world, but good for the world. So congratulations to all the winners tonight.
Yes, a huge congratulations indeed. Now, each of our award winners tonight will be presented with a tall poppy statuette, and that's designed by world-class New Zealand award winner Sir Richard Taylor and generously donated by Weta Workshop. Now, poppies represent our aspirations to stand tall and strive for greatness. And the stem of the award, well, that represents a human figure always reaching higher, just like our human spirit and endeavour. Now, Kia's global community can be found in all corners of the world, championing Aotearoa and helping fellow Kiwi whenever they can, and coming together as a community to share advice, insights, and of course, unlike what you're being serving now, a sausage roll. Now, it is only when you go offshore that you realise how active this community is and how valuable and what valuable ambassadors they are for New Zealand. Now, given the global nature of Kia's work, it's only fitting that we join with some of them tonight to celebrate our first award. And through the magic of technology, folks, this is a first time. No, we haven't been given a signal. Just bear with me, folks. We're just about to find out what is happening next. Stay with me. Ladies and gentlemen, can I just have your attention once again, please? In hopes of crossing to London, we need our friends in London to be able to hear me. So we need the room just to quieten down a bit, folks. Excuse me, folks, just if we can just quieten down a bit. Thank you. A bit more if we can. If you can just turn to your neighbour and just tell them just to quieten down a bit. Again, in order to cross through the magic of television, we need silence so our London family and friends can all hear us. Thank you. All right, folks. As I was saying, just through the magic... Oh, still a bit loud down the far end. Can we just keep our voice down, folks? Tables down the back there, please. Thank you. Folks, just through the magic of technology, I'd now like to unite us with more than 50 of our global community in London and welcome our UK MC, Kiwi sports broadcaster and the first female lead commentator on Super Rugby. Good evening from Auckland, good morning to you in London, Ricky Swinnell. Folks, just through the magic of technology, I'd now like to unite us with more than 50 of our global community in London and welcome our UK MC, Kiwi sports broadcaster, the first female lead on Super Rugby. Good evening from Auckland, good morning to you in London, Ricky Swinnell.
Kia ora, Daniel. Good morning to everybody here. Good evening to you. Well done wrangling everybody back in Auckland. It's much more seemly here in London. Of course, the time difference means we're celebrating somewhat differently with a lovely champagne breakfast here at the Exmouth Market Caravan. It is so great to be able to celebrate these amazing offshore Kiwi with such a global event. Now, as we've probably discovered, there is a little bit of a time delay on this live cross, so bear with us a little bit, particularly as our first winner's video is played. Also, too, as our winner comes up, could you hold your applause until that video is played? Our first 2022 Kia World Class New Zealand Award will be presented by Kia's global creative partner, Topham Guerin, and I'd like to welcome founding partner Ben Guerin to join me now. Our first... We didn't get your health and safety briefing here. Our first award winner is a former Olympic and Commonwealth Games athlete. She is the first female CEO of the Commonwealth Games Federation. Prior to this, she was the General Manager of Women's Rugby at World Rugby, where she was responsible for successfully developing and implementing a strategic plan to promote, grow and commercialise the women's game. She is a passionate advocate for women in sport, and in the past year in her role at World Rugby, she oversaw the appointment of 17 women to the World Rugby Council. The World Rugby Council had previously been made up entirely of blokes. During her time, she's also handpicked 49 women to take part in a leadership course designed at getting more females into sport management positions in rugby around the world. She played a key role in increasing participation in rugby regions where women's rights have traditionally been impeded. This includes Iran, Syria, Malaysia and Laos. Let's meet our first world-class New Zealand winner.
You know, I had a really interesting experience. Just recently, I went down to the World Expo. We were doing a mini Queen's Baton relay around the countries. I think I met, was the president from Kenya, and he was introduced to me and as the chief executive, and he didn't kind of register that. And then all of a sudden he turned around and said, "But you're a woman." It was one of those really interesting experiences, and he absolutely apologized for it. But people aren't still used to women being in those very senior leadership roles. But it is changing. It is changing. And, you know, I mean, to me, it's about leadership.
In those early days, we were at the Hillary Commission. I actually worked closely with the Sports Foundation, which was led by a very strong male at the time. Managed to impact change really early on in the system, got us all thinking more broadly about the sort of people we wanted to have involved in how we presented sport to different populations, particularly young girls at the time.
I mean, I would really like to get to a stage where we don't talk about women being the first. When I started about my career, particularly when I worked in the high performance area, at that stage there was very, 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 very few women that were involved in elite sport.
Katie has done an incredible job in helping to pave the way for females in sports management roles. I had the great privilege to watch her in action for World Rugby, where she really changed the landscape at the highest level in the decision-making bodies by ensuring that more females were represented in those bodies.
You know, when I took on the job of World Rugby, I was kind of a bit nervous about where that was going to go. One of my best memories was the fact that I developed a network of women, and when I left there was about 49 of them that had been handpicked who were potential leaders from all over the globe, and working with them, mentoring them, getting the phone calls at 2 o'clock in the morning when they were struggling with something that was going on in governance. It was a really special moment to be able to make a difference to people's lives.
She's worked really hard to get where she has got to now and leading an international organisation with a huge profile. But she's got there because she's done the yards. As I say, she's got the ability to be incredibly strategic, but also knows what needs to happen on a daily basis and gets it done. She does the mahi.
I think what makes Katie so unique is her ability to connect with people from all walks of life, from all backgrounds, cultures, genders, ages. She operates at a very high level in boardrooms and decision-making bodies, but she's also just as comfortable on the sidelines of a community rugby match. She really has the ability to make everyone feel at ease as soon as she walks into a room.
I mean, you know, people talk about if you can see it, you can be it. I spend a lot of time mentoring people, creating programs and pathways to allow people to achieve their dreams. I see my role as very much connecting and sharing best practice and creating opportunities for people to learn from each other and to share the good things, the bad things, the challenges, the opportunities, and also to showcase New Zealand, because we do such amazing things on a world stage in sport. I spend a lot of time mentoring people, creating programs and pathways to allow people to achieve their dreams. I see my role as very much connecting and sharing best practice and creating opportunities for people to learn from each other and to share the good things, the bad things, the challenges, the opportunities, and also to showcase New Zealand, because we do such amazing things on a world stage in sport.
Please join me in congratulating our first Kia World Class New Zealand Award winner, Katie Sadlier.
Wow. Kia ora koutou katoa. I'm incredibly humbled and honoured to have received this World Class New Zealander Award, and particularly as I look back and I think of the other people who have won the award in the past, and I know that the great people who are going to award it in the future. I had the privilege of spending quite a bit of time with Sir Don McKinnon at the last Commonwealth Games, and just I wasn't able to tell him that I was going to join his exclusive group, but what an amazing New Zealander as well. You know, it's been when I hung up and stopped swimming a long, long time ago, I had an amazing career in sports management and sports leadership in New Zealand. But I won an award in 2016 from Sport New Zealand, which was a Lifetime Achievement Award for what I had done in the country. And at the time I was 50, and I was listening to Sir John Wells, a great mentor of mine, actually outline my career to date, and I thought, oh my gosh, it sort of sounded like a eulogy, and I thought, there's more. And I decided at that stage, you know, at 2016, that it was time to see what I could do on a global stage. I had learned so much from so many people about great things that you can do in terms of sport and changing lives. And within 3 months, I was really fortunate to be appointed as the General Manager of Women's Rugby for World Rugby, and what a job. I had 5 years where I was given the opportunity to empower women around the world, work with inspirational men and women to connect people, to actually do what I could to change people's lives and to use sport for social change. And I did get to go to some amazing, my first trip was off to outer Mongolia, through to Iran, into working with women in India and Syria, and closer to home in New Zealand and Fiji, to see what I could do to help use sport to break down some of the social barriers that faced women in sport. So that was an amazing experience. And then after 5 years of driving I guess what I call a major transformational program at a governance, economic, and development space for World Rugby, I got this opportunity to get back into something that was very close to me, and that was Commonwealth sport. I took up the role as Chief Executive in November last year. Up until then, I had been to 6 Commonwealth Games and 3 Olympics in a variety of capacities. But last month, I had the honour of being the Chief Executive of the Commonwealth Games that took place in Birmingham. And a bit biased, but I have to say that was probably the best games ever. And, you know, so, I mean, the Commonwealth Games is movement, 2.7 billion people, 72 members currently that have a huge mandate to actually use sport for social change, and to be part of that, to connect people around the world, to see what we can do, certainly drive some of the kind of advocacy programs that we think are really important in terms of women, in terms of inclusion and para-athletes, in terms of the LGBTQ community, and just most recently, I've just come back from Victoria in Canada, where we're working on a declaration of reconciliation of Indigenous people through sport. So a really great mandate to connect people. But sport is a connector. You know, I mean, whether it was connecting people around the world in terms of their living rooms and the emotional outcomes from the last Commonwealth Games, or connecting the young athlete who aspires to be that ambassador of that high-profile athlete that they've watched on the games. So I know that I am very fortunate to be in that space. Now, it's really interesting being here in London, and really, you know, wish I could be with my family and friends that I know that are in that room that we're watching from afar. So my brother Duncan and my sister Lynette, and people who supported my career. Here I am joined by family and friends as well, my daughter Abby and her boyfriend Max, and a group of people who have been inspirational to who I am. So I would like to thank Kia and Sarah, who has coordinated this. The New Zealand High Commission has been such a welcoming group for me here, and the Kia community is a really special group to be part of. And I thank you once again for this honor. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Katie, and we are really thrilled to be able to celebrate this morning with you. A very deserving winner, and I know for many women in sport, myself included, you have absolutely paved the way for many of us, and with many good things to come, I am sure. We are going to enjoy our champagne breakfast here, Daniel. We really hope the rest of you enjoy your evening in Auckland. Have a great night. We'll sign off from London.
Thanks a lot, Ricky. Enjoy that breakfast, and congratulations, Katie, once again. Fantastic. Enjoy the awards. Ngā mihi to you guys in London. Folks, once again, if I could just have your attention. If we can just keep the volume down in the room here. It's now time for our second award of the evening, and this award will be presented by Kerridge and Partners. And I'd like you all to help me welcome to the stage Claire Dennison. Welcome on the stage, Claire. Now, folks, again, just a reminder that we do ask you to hold your applause until our winner's name is called. Our next awardee is also a former Commonwealth Games athlete who represented New Zealand in athletics in Kuala Lumpur in 1998. Now, he started working in the sportswear industry at the age of 16 and soon joined global brand Adidas, where he climbed through the ranks, the company ranks, ultimately being named president for Adidas North America. Yes, again, thank you. Thank you. Continuing on, his life, however, could have gone down a very different track if it wasn't for the help of a Kiwi cop and athletics coach who inspired him to become more. Tonight's winner has never forgotten the impact that mentor had on him. And during his career, he has always looked to pass it on, making time to help other Kiwi wherever he could. Now, most memorably, he agreed to meet Allbirds founder Tim Brown and went on to introduce him to his colleagues at Adidas, which then led to the two companies collaborating to produce the world's lowest carbon running shoe. He is seen by his peers as a renowned leader, and during decades, 2 decades actually, offshore, he has used his Māori and Pacific values to connect and empower teams, foster a diverse and inclusive culture, and of course, grow talent. He believes if you put people first, results will always follow. Please, take a look.
When I was 14, I ended up in a situation with the boys in blue. And a couple of days later, there was a knock on the door, and the chief of police, his name was Ross Dello, was also the local track and field coach. If it was not for Ross, I think my life could have ended up in a very, very different situation.
Zealand's an impressive individual. He came from a background of adversity. There wasn't a lot going for him, but he's shown the strength of character to really overcome all the odds against him. He's got incredible commitment and a laser-focused drive, and we learned that when he took up athletics as a teenager.
This is the place that it all brings back to me, and I guess that's where hard work and dreams can really change people's lives.
If you were to talk to and ask people that worked with and for Zion, they would say he is an inspiring leader, he's a wonderful man, and he cares more about their success than he does his own.
When I wanted to support my hometown of Virginia Beach with a festival to bring better economics and opportunity, not only did you build and bring literally you guys, this guy brought a basketball court to the beach. But you brought your human resource team to interview possible university students for opportunities that they may have never had the chance at all to experience or meet these Adidas leaders.
He joined me middle of the year in 2014. Our business was $1.5 billion. When I left in 2018 and handed the business off to Zion, it was $5.2 billion. Zion was just as instrumental, or maybe more, to the success of Adidas, our business, than I was. And yet Zion never said a word, never asked for any recognition, just did his job, led the people, and we turned that business around.
When you're a leader of a small, medium or large organisation, it doesn't matter about the numbers. What matters is about how you represent the entire organisation. So for me, the way that I held myself, the way our leadership team was accountable, was real, was open, approachable, was so important.
He has helped to bring people together. He's used his influence on the world stage, in the world business stage, to be able to connect people in other businesses and in the sporting arena. He's a proud champion of New Zealand.
My assistant used to tell me off, she's like, you've always saying yes. And I was like, you have no idea how one person can potentially change someone's life. And what I mean by that, whether it was an intern or someone would say, hey, can I have coffee or lunch with you, I'd always say yes. Because that one person for me was Ross. You can't beat New Zealand. You know, our people are phenomenal. I love being here. I love now having the opportunity I can start giving back to people starting up in New Zealand, and I'll figure that out over time. But for me, it's always about how can I help other people. So that's my why. And I truly believe what you give, it's going to come back.
Please join me in congratulating our Kia World Class New Zealand Award winner, Zion Armstrong.
Kia ora everyone. First off to Ngāti Whātua, thank you very much for hosting us tonight. It's an honour to be here. I thought I'd got away from standing on stage in front of a lot of people, but obviously I've failed with that. I've got nothing but immense gratitude for the opportunities that my career provided me, working in different parts of the world with different cultures, with amazing folk. But I have more gratitude for two tables in this room of my whānau and friends. They're the naughty ones in the corner. You know, you've always been there for me. You all mean so much to me, so I thank you from the bottom of my heart. My mum is also here. She was diagnosed with Parkinson's 35 years ago. From the day she was diagnosed, not once has she ever complained. So Mum, you're a true mana woman. You're an amazing inspiration. You're also exceptionally stubborn, but we'll save that for another night. You know, to succeed in sport or in business, you need some amazing people around you. You need to be picked up when there are difficult times. You also need to be pointed in the right direction. And my life could have certainly gone into a different direction if it wasn't for the Chief of Police of West Auckland. And you know, while it was a great honour to represent New Zealand, and something I'll always cherish is wearing that black singlet, the biggest honour for me that I'll always remember from Ross and his family is teaching me that it was better to give back and to give back to the community. And I hope to think that, Ross, I honour your legacy, and I've tried to do that everywhere I've gone around the world and making communities better. And Simon, thank you for being here on behalf of the whānau. The last thing I want to say is, you know, the last 2 years of my life in the US was the most difficult of my professional and personal life. My children were back in New Zealand. Luckily, they were here in a safe environment, and I thought it'd be 2 or 3 weeks apart from them. That quickly became 2 years. At the same time, I was working remotely, leading a team of 12,500 plus people through a pandemic, through wildfires, through the biggest social unrest the United States has seen, through mass shootings, just to name a few. And to leave last year with our best results ever, doing that remotely, was something I'll always be very proud of. But what I'm most proud of is on my last day at the North American headquarters, and I turned up, and there was he tangata, he tangata, he tangata, all around the campus on banners. That was the moment that, you know, we can be such an incredibly proud nation, knowing that the values of our people can truly cascade across borders and unite people from all parts of the world and achieve greatness. So really, really proud moment, and I want to thank the Kia team for allowing me this amazing honour. I want to congratulate all the other winners. I'm truly humbled to be standing on the stage beside you. But last and not least, I had a pretty powerful business card in the sporting goods industry, but that means nothing, and I think the most important title you can have in your life is being a parent. So I'm glad to be home and be reunited with my two beautiful children, Xavier and Kaya. I love you both to the moon and back, and I can't wait to be a present father and go on to that next chapter. So thank you, everyone. Kia kaha.
Well, thank you, Zion. What an amazing journey and such an incredible story. And of course, again, you can hear the patterns rippling through. Connection, 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 and he tangata, he tangata, he tangata. It is about the people, the people, the people. Well, our third award this evening is presented by Kia's charity partner, the Starship Foundation. I'd like to welcome on stage, please join me in welcoming Chief Executive Aisha Daji Punda to join me now. Well, our next world-class award winner stands out for his leadership in public policy and his tireless efforts in tackling discrimination and racism to champion the way forward for our more inclusive Aotearoa. Now, he came to New Zealand as a refugee at the age of 6 after his family fled the Somali Civil War. During his high school, during his high school. It's an incredible story. During his high school years, his teachers repeatedly told him university wasn't a place for people like him. But despite this, he went on to gain a degree in public policy and was awarded a Fulbright scholarship to study a master's at Cornell University in New York. He is the co-founder of non-profit Third Culture Minds, an organisation aimed at facilitating tough conversations about racism and discrimination in New Zealand. He has twice spoken on behalf of New Zealand at the UN and chaired conversations with the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees. Now, following the Christchurch mosque shootings, he became a spokesperson for the Muslim community, helping connect New Zealand's inclusive messaging to a global media community. He's recently returned home and from the US to take up a position with the Ministry of Business, Innovation and Employment, where he hopes to share his international learnings on creating a more inclusive society. Let's all take a look.
A war. Some people, every day I look in the people die. Sometimes one family, whole mother, father, the boys, girls, all die. Me, I decided going.
I just remember the plane landing and the scenery was so different. It was just so green and beautiful and it was nothing like I've seen it before. My teachers had a low expectation of me growing up. Some said I wouldn't amount to anything notable in society. Eventually, I left school when I was 16 years old, to my mother's disappointment. And it was shortly after that I started traveling. I went back to Kenya, met some of my relatives, was able to see the situation in which they were living in. Many of them who are still refugees and still find themselves in that predicament. So, it gave me a different outlook on life. It inspired me to come back home and to be able to make the most of the opportunities that are afforded to us here. I knew that I always wanted to be in a position where I wanted to make a difference, and public policy was my way of giving back to a country that has given so much to me and my family. So yeah, I often think about the little Guled that is stuck in a refugee camp somewhere around the world, waiting on a chance for a country to take a shot on them and to provide them resettlement. And that isn't something that isn't provided for all, that is provided for all refugees. So that's been something that's motivated my work in that space.
Guled has a wonderful ability to passionately represent the views of different communities, and I think this is really important for public policy, that the people who make up our public policy workforce actually represent the communities that make up New Zealand.
I would describe Guled as a natural-born leader. He listens to everybody, he makes sure he listens to the most vulnerable voices, respectfully, with empathy, tries to take everybody along with him.
To win this award really means a lot. You know, I think generally for the most part we're a country that likes to give people a fair go. And there's always room for improvement. I don't think we're quite there yet in terms of achieving full inclusion. And that work in itself is going to be a long-term process.
I think Gulid's a leader to watch. He's somebody who is really ambitious for making change for other people. And I really watch with interest what he's going to do for New Zealand, for all of us.
You know, this country is it's home. It's given me so much. And even though sometimes I question my sense of belonging, I always know it's home, and that is something that nobody can ever take away from me.
Please join me in congratulating Kia's world-class New Zealand, Gulid Meyer.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ko buraha dabila bi te moanga, ko shabele te awa, ko hawia toku iwi, ko habargidir toku hapu. No Afrika oku tipuna, ko hawa jamarawa, ko farah maya oku matua, ko guled maya toku ingoa, ke te mihi atu, ki te atua, ke te mihi atu, ki te mana whenua. Nā te whātua ki tāmaki. Kia ora. Home. No one leaves home unless home is the mouth of a shark. No one would leave home unless home tastes you. Those were the words of British Somali poet Watson Shire. And it was almost 25 years ago today that our search for a place to call home ended when New Zealand chose to open its arms and take us in. So the fact that I'm now standing here receiving this award still feels so surreal and is an absolute honor because nothing in my earlier circumstances would have suggested I'd be here. I want to thank Kia for this recognition and the Starship Foundation for sponsoring this award. Congratulations to all the winners tonight. I'm in awe of all your work and achievements. I thank God, who works in the most mysterious ways, for the gift of voice. I gratefully acknowledge everyone who has given me their time and support over the years. In this space, I want to especially thank everyone at tables 63 and 64. I appreciate you all. Thank you to Veena Patel and the team at Third Culture Minds, to my public service colleagues doing good and important work. Thank you for your selfless service. I acknowledge the support of my team at MB, Carolyn Tremaine, London Macmillan, George Whitworth, Dean Ford, and Chris Bunny. I acknowledge my family, who give me strength and extends well beyond blood relatives. To my siblings, my younger brother Abdi Fatah sitting beside me tonight, thank you for believing in me. To my beautiful mother, the most important person in my life, thank you for your sacrifice. I'm so proud to call Aotearoa home. But the truth is, as much as it's embraced me, it's also rejected me. I hesitated about mentioning this tonight because people expect, because of what New Zealand has given me, that I should simply be grateful. Conversations about race or racism are seen to be biting the hand that fed you. But to me, challenging the status quo comes from a place of love and wanting us to be better. So I invite you to reimagine an Aotearoa in a world free of racism and inequality, a place where everyone can unlock their full potential. The actions we collectively take now will become the inheritance and legacy of our tamariki and mokopono. And I know I sound a bit aspirational, but I stand here as a young refugee who once had a big and impossible dream, having arrived here with no money and with the generosity of this nation and the vision of our tipuna for an inclusive Aotearoa, paved long before I was born through Titiriti or Waitangi, making many of our impossible dreams seem real today. So I think we can dare to be aspirational. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Guled. Such an inspirational story, and clearly he's shown favouritism with tables 63 and 64 over there. So that's where the party will be this evening, folks, and can we just make sure that the alcohol doesn't flow too much yet until we've finished this roll tonight. Wow, what an evening already. We've been through a number of awards. It's now my pleasure to welcome to the stage the Honourable Damien O'Connor, Ministers for Trade and Export Growth. Join me in welcoming him to the stage.
Kia ora koutou, and thank you very much for the invitation to come along to this exciting event. Firstly, may I welcome the award winners here tonight, and those of you who have been honoured here before. Your contribution to New Zealand and to the world is fully deserving of this event. I must acknowledge, of course, mana whenua, Ngāti Whātua Ōrākei, to Sir Stephen Tyndall and Professor David Peace, who have been the co-founders of Kia, to Tony Truslove and Phil Veal, respectively Kia's Chief Executive and Chair. King Hutia, who is here tonight as the guest of the Starship Foundation. To my colleague, the Honourable Stuart Nash, he texted me just as the plane landed, and I turned on my phone, torn between the honour, if I hadn't arrived, to get up here and say a few words, and then the knowledge that I was going to and to have a few drinks. So you've got a few drinks due. Can I also acknowledge Christopher Luxon, the leader of the National Party, Jennifer Kerr, an awards judge and the chairperson of New Zealand Trade and Enterprise, and her fellow judge, Dame Roseanne Mayo. Can I also acknowledge my old boss, Helen Clark, sitting down here. It is great to be here. I have to say, it was touch and go. It has been an incredibly stressful day. When you put on your white shirt at 6 a.m. in the morning and then hope that it will still be white at 9 o'clock at night, and you've been to 2 hospitals and a construction site and a school, I made it. So I'm very happy to have done that. Can I say that, like many of you, I have spent quite a bit of time over the last year overseas advancing New Zealand's trade recovery strategy. As you all know, I can tell you that New Zealand's profile and reputation has never been stronger. We are reconnecting New Zealand with the world. The strategy that we've been using has been updated in 2022, this year, to provide the best support possible to Kiwi businesses reconnecting with customers, with partners, and with their markets overseas. We seek a recovery that is sustainable and inclusive, that lifts exporter capability and performance in key markets, that improves regional and international trade architecture, and strengthens our the long-term resilience of New Zealand's economy. We've updated the free trade agreement with China, and we've concluded a free trade agreement with the EU and with the UK. These are some of the key achievements that we have achieved under the strategy. I'd like to acknowledge the officials that have worked on behalf of us all in NFAT and NZTE. And thank you. They do a lot of hard work for you, and it hasn't been easy when you've got to travel overseas and be away from family, as we've heard tonight. In pursuing these goals, we also draw on the unique advantages from the values that we hold as people, including kaitiakitanga, our interconnected care for people and for place. Over the decades, New Zealand has built a reputation as a good citizen in the world. The world knows that we are solid, reliable and trusted partners. We have a diverse and innovative business community that works to build economies that benefit everyone. Wherever I have travelled, I continue to meet fascinating and inspiring Kiwis who contribute every day to the nations and the communities where they live. I'm just waiting. We're trying to acknowledge a few people here tonight. Their contribution encompasses every human endeavour, and that's what I'm looking forward to seeing here tonight with our award winners. But I know that no one person succeeds without the support of family and friends. So I'd like to thank and applaud Kia's wide offshore community as well. I am inspired in the brief time I've been here, and I'm sure you have been. Tonight we're here to acknowledge many of the people who are the best in the world. They should inspire us as a nation and as a people to be the best for the world. Think about that. We have a wonderful country, we have wonderful people, and those we're celebrating here tonight should be inspiration for us and future generations. I'd like to apologise and say that unfortunately the Prime Minister would have loved to have been here. She can't be, but she has sent a personal message, and if the technology is working well, you will hear that now. Kia ora, thank you very, very much.
Nau mai, hari mai, tēnā koutou, ka nui te mihi ki a koutou. Thank you for inviting me to speak to you tonight, or this morning for those of you in the Northern Hemisphere, at the 2022 Kia World Class New Zealand Awards. I know from my own experience attending the awards last year that this will be a particularly special and inspirational evening. I'd like to start by passing on my warmest congratulations to everyone being honoured tonight. You champion our values and represent Kiwi ingenuity on a global stage. You have all made extraordinary contributions, not only to Aotearoa, but to the countries in which you live and to the world as a whole. This year I've had the pleasure of once again travelling overseas on trade missions, and trips like these quickly remind me of two things. First, the extraordinary diversity and quality of our Kiwi companies who export and showcase their products and services to the world. And second, the energy and passion of our large expat community, who are vital to our global connectedness. Kia is a key part of this connection around the world, and I thank you for all the work that you have done. I'm also pleased to hear that Kia is hosting celebrations in London as part of this year's awards. This really brings to life the global nature of Kia's community. I know it's been a tough few years since COVID-19 became part of our everyday language, but now we're able to look towards the future with a bit more certainty and optimism. The people and organisations being celebrated tonight will play a key role in this. I'm looking forward to seeing you continue to innovate, continue to make a powerful contribution to the world. For now though, I wish everyone a wonderful evening, and to our Kia and expat community, thank you for all you do for us. Ngā mihi nui.
Well, thank you to Minister O'Connor and, of course, Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern for that wonderful message. I've brought on an empty vessel tonight because there's still a bit of talking throughout the room, and it's quite rude to be talking when we have special guests coming up and giving speeches. It is not an easy job to stand in front of 700 people, but all we ask is just some respect and just to keep the room quiet until they have finished delivering their speeches. Feel free to network them, but when we do have people on the stage, please do pay attention. So the rule from now on in, because you're in my shed and this is my whare and we're all going to whakarongo, is that when I tap this, that is time for everyone, please, just to keep the volume down. That is all. That is all we're asking. So let's continue on. We will now move on to our next award, which will be presented by Tātaki Auckland Unlimited. I'd like to welcome and ask you to join me in welcoming Pam Ford, Director, Investment and Industry, to join me now. Well, our next winner is co-founder of a technology company, Neuro, which is focused on accelerating the benefits of robotics in everyday life. In 5 years, his company, which is based in California, has grown to employ 630 people and developed the first self-driving vehicle to receive a permit to operate in the US. Now, during the pandemic, he volunteered his company's technology to deliver food and medicine to essential workers in the community. Before starting Neuro, he was a principal engineer on Google's self-driving program, and one of his algorithms is currently being used for long-range autonomy on NASA's Mars rovers. He is passionate about getting other young Kiwi into the tech sector and has just created a scholarship for robotics students at Otago University in memory of one of his former robotics professor who was an important mentor for him. His vision is to create a world where robots can take over the more mundane areas of our lives. Don't look at me in my role, I'm actually quite enjoying this at the moment. But he is allowing us to have more time to connect with people and do the things we love. Let's meet our next winner.
For me, it's always been really important that I take all of the gifts and the opportunities that I've been given, and I try to really put a dent in the universe and try to positively contribute in whatever way that I can. After I finished high school, I went to the University of Otago, and it was really there that I fell in love with robotics.
Did his undergraduate degree here, went over to the US to do his PhD, and some of the code that he developed during his PhD is now running around on the rovers in Mars. So this is like an incredible story, right? So you start off in New Zealand and you end up developing stuff that's on another world. So we try to use that to inspire our students, say, look, it's what it's possible to achieve even when you're starting out, you know, at a small country at the bottom of the world.
So Neuro was born as the brainchild of my co-founder Jay-Z and I, and one of the things that we both recognized was we're going to see a pretty significant shift in how we interact in the physical world over the next 2 to 3 decades.
When we started the company, I remember that Dave was really passionate about two things. One is robotics, and how can we make everyone's life better through robotics? And the other part is climate change. And in the last 6 years, I've seen him work really, really hard on both topics, develop really, really cool technology that could really help build a better future for all of us.
A lot of the things that we're doing today that perhaps we don't love doing, the places where we're spending time that we would rather not spend time, I think all of that will get replaced by robots or other forms of technology. And in doing so, I think we will be able to focus our time on the places where it matters most. So I think that is a very positive aspect of the technology that we're broadly building. I think it's going to enable everyone to spend their time on more meaningful things, ideally in the pursuit of leisure and spending time with their loved ones.
Dave has very kindly donated money to support fourth-year students, or particular fourth-year students, to go into fourth year and continue their studies. And this is in memory of one of our staff who were here and was quite inspirational for Dave, Dr. Willem Labuschagne, who sadly passed away a few years ago. So what we hope is that it will encourage students to continue their studies and perhaps allow them potentially to have a much greater impact on the world.
I
think there are tremendous opportunities for entrepreneurs everywhere, and I think New Zealand is in some ways uniquely positioned, right? If you look post-COVID, we're in a new working model where being remote is far less of a big deal than it was 2, 3, 5, 10 years ago. And so that in many ways breaks down a lot of the barriers that New Zealand may have had in terms of their ability to really interact and operate on the world stage. So I do see this being a pretty remarkable next couple of decades for New Zealand.
Tēnā koutou katoa. It gives me great pleasure to announce Dave Ferguson, our latest world-class New Zealander. Hau mai te pakipaki.
Thank you. Thank you to Taki Auckland Unlimited, and thank you, Kia, and kia ora, everyone. It's truly an incredible honour to be here tonight. And I think, like a couple of the other award winners, for me also very unlikely that I would be. I've been overseas now for 20 years. So 20 years overseas, correcting folks that confuse New Zealand with Australia. And in particular, those who think that New Zealand too had our European origin as a penal colony. And I say, no, of course not. In New Zealand, we've all been upstanding global citizens from the outset. Well, it turns out, thank you, it turns out that's true for almost all of us. So when my parents, who are here tonight, retired, my dad spent some time digging into our family history. And it turns out there were 2 boats of convicts that did come to New Zealand in 1842, and one of our ancestors was one of them. So I suppose that's worthy of a round of applause. I'm not sure. But Kia, if you want this back at any point, just let me know. I'll understand. Our Ferguson family motto is Dulcis ex asperis, which means sweeter through adversity. And that has been particularly appropriate for our family, including that fateful journey under duress back in 1842, and for me personally. When Kia told me about this award, it was after the hardest year I'd ever had in my life. And I remember thinking this was a crazy year to be recognized. But on further reflection, I think for me it was the perfect year. Because to achieve something that matters, anything that matters really, either for you or for the world, usually requires a struggle. Now in New Zealand, we tend to push back a little bit against achievement, the tall poppy syndrome. And it's always struck me as odd that we use that symbol in that phrase, the poppy. The same symbol that we use to remember Gallipoli. One of the most formative events in our history as a country where thousands rose above their personal interests to sacrifice as heroes. They were the true original tall poppies. And I would love for us to reclaim that phrase, to honor those who strive to do more and to give more, to grow. And not to grow to be taller than everyone else, but to be taller than they were yesterday or a year ago. And I'd really like to dedicate this award tonight to all of the Kiwis out there right now that are stretching themselves in that way. So to the young girl that's at home struggling with a maths problem, to the Scarfie in Dunedin that's grappling with relativity. That's the growth. Those are the tall poppies that we need to support and encourage, and this is for you. Now, finally, I'd like to thank all of the people that share this award with me tonight. My parents, who are both here. One of them's my date. Thank you so much for supporting me. That one didn't get as much applause. Thank you so much for supporting me and for being such incredible role models. and for the ancestry, Dad. My brother Pete, who's also here, who's always shown me how to suck the marrow out of life. My kids, Freya and Theo, you saw Theo in one of the videos, who have lifted me up during some of the toughest times that I've had. And then to many others that I can't name, great friends, teachers, Jay-Z and the Neuro team, my fellow strugglers. You're all my whānau. None of this would have happened without you, and I love you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. It's great to have your family here too, Dave. That's fantastic. Welcome to Mum and Dad. The whole date thing, still questioning that. Lots of questions there. We'll get there tonight. Oh, here we go again. Here we go again. Oh, it's amazing. To our young viewers at home, do not carry a knife and an empty glass around. It's not a good look, but boy, it has a lot of power. So I will continue to use this. Dave, we certainly can't wait to see how Neuro's technology will develop in the future. Now, a big part of Kia's role is the work they do with Kiwi businesses, which we all know, via their Kia Connect service. Every month, Kia supports more than 30 Kiwi businesses to compete on the world stage by extending the helping hand of our offshore community via our Kia Connect service. Connecting these Kiwi entrepreneurs into our global networks provides valuable in-market insights and advice to those who are just starting out their export journey or who are looking to grow into new markets. One of the export businesses Kia Connect has helped this year is Wai Manuka, a uniquely Kiwi company which produces a non-alcoholic sparkling honey drink, which many of you, yes, you have it on your table, and many of you will be enjoying this evening. And just on that, folks, I'd now like to welcome Joe Hariwera from Wai Manuka to join me to present our next award. Joe is like the bodyguard. If anyone ticks me off tonight and you talk through, I'm getting Joe to come over to your table, have a few words with you, I tell you. Our next winner is globally recognised as a leader in the agritech industry. He is of Ngāti Tipa, Maniapoto Te Aupori, Parihaka descent, and started his career in finance at a time when Māori organisations were beginning to develop forestry, farming and fishing assets. He is the co-founder and partner at Finistea Ventures, one of the pioneering venture capital firms dedicated to agritech. He led the creation of Finistea's global portfolio and is responsible for creating a community of agritech entrepreneurs around the world. He has led the New Zealand government's trade and investment agency in North America and has recently taken on the role of CEO at Plenty, an indoor vertical farming company. He is a strong advocate for sustainable farming and has worked to ensure New Zealand companies, and particularly Māori entrepreneurs, are at the forefront of the agritech and sustainable technology. Let's meet our next winner.
We're going to build hundreds of these farms. We're going to move towards bringing that diversity of amazing fresh produce, fruit and vegetables to as many people as possible. Our objective over time is to continue to bring the cost of our food down, actually to make it more affordable and accessible. So this is not just, fancy lettuce for Michelin star restaurants. This is definitely about food access.
When you work with Arima, it's not just about connections. It's really about entire communities that he's formed. Arima was one of the first pioneers in agriculture investment. And through all the companies he's invested in, through all the co-investment partnerships that he's formed, it's truly become an organic community that anyone like us has really benefited from.
As the planet warms up, as population grows, we need more solutions for how to feed that planet and to do so in a sustainable way. We realize there's both a food production requirement, a sustainability requirement, that really technology is the most impactful lever, can change the trajectory of human progress.
I'm particularly proud of Arima because of his commitment, his ability to connect with people, his ability to build teams, his ability to get the best out of people, and most importantly, to select some of the great talents in his field of endeavour.
I've been privileged to have some fantastic mentors. It brings to mind the famous Newton quote, doesn't it? That you've seen further, it's because you stood on the shoulders of giants. It was certainly the case for me. I think all credit to my career goes to, frankly, the folks who've supported me, whether that was in the Māori community, my family, or coming abroad. Today I think I'm in a fortunate position to get a chance to do the same. Actually, I'm in process in launching a intern program for Māori STEM and business grads to get exposure to Silicon Valley, to our wider global network of innovation. Given just how much talent there is at home in New Zealand, it's a big motivator for me to stay connected with New Zealand and with home base.
I feel like as a financial investor, people always talk about the bottom line, but Arama's ultimate quadruple bottom line is really the success of his entrepreneurs and his companies. And he is there to be a resource in any way. He's a shoulder to cry on. He's that person that wants to take you out and celebrate your successes. And he's the guy that's going to be pushing that boulder up the hill right next to you in every step of that journey.
I think having a really long-term perspective is important in food and agriculture. And also today, I think we look at all of these industries, these applications, these human endeavors through the lens of climate. And so I think having a perspective around what the long-term implications are for the choices we make in the use of our resources, our land, is super critical.
I'd like you all to join me in congratulating our Kia World Class Award winner, Arama Kukatai. Kia ora no tātou. I know I put my speech on my phone here somewhere. Firstly, I want to thank our host here at Ngāti Whātua, Kia ora kei. Also to the whānau, my matua Karu, who's here present with me, my sister Tahu, and also the assembled iwi here from Maniapoto Te Aupauri, Waikato Maniapoto, and also from our whanaunga at Parihaka. Kia ora. A lot's been said tonight already, and I also want to add my thanks and also the congratulations to the other winners and alumni here of this fantastic Kia World Class New Zealand network. It's very humbling to be part of this, and as I look through the many names and frankly huge contributors to the New Zealand community and particularly to the international community, like some of the others here, I've also been abroad for just over 20 years now. It's truly humbling to be here and to accept this award on behalf of my whānau, my colleagues, formerly at NZTE, more recently at Finisterre Ventures, and then most lately at my company, Plenty. I also want to just note, as I said in my commentary here too, that I'm inspired by the opportunity to give back and to contribute. For a young Māori boy growing up in Ngaroa here, the idea that one day I would be a venture capitalist in Silicon Valley, let alone leading one of the world's leading technology companies, a unicorn, seemed like a pretty big stretch. And I think one of the huge challenges we have and huge opportunities we have is to actually close that gap. There need to be more of us, more of my Māori whānau standing up here accepting these awards in the future. And so I want to pay tribute to Kia. particularly Sir Stephen, I know he's somewhere here in the audience, and to his partner David Teese. You did an amazing thing creating this network and creating the opportunity for us. In my own small way, I'm looking forward to doing something to contribute to the development of rangatahi. We've founded a intern program, Te Ara Potiki, which is looking to take Māori STEM students and business entrepreneurs and connect them into our Silicon Valley network. Finisterre has invested in more than 40 technology companies. So we are looking to give the opportunity and experience to rangatahi to go and work firsthand in these companies and get the exposure and the opportunities to build and frankly expand the Kia network, the New Zealand network globally. So in closing, I just want to thank again Kia for this opportunity and maybe just reflect on one final point here too. I've thanked a number of my friends and my mentors, but I want to acknowledge those who have passed on. It was nearly 3 years for me before coming back to Aotearoa due to the COVID shutdown. And so I want to acknowledge firstly my mother, Lorraine, who was a real inspiration and bedrock in our whānau and in the community, and I think taught myself and our whānau the importance of giving back. And I also want to acknowledge my mentor at Finisterre Ventures and co-founder, Dr. Jerry Calder, who has passed on now, but was actually a great friend to New Zealand and one of the real pioneers of biology and biotech and agriculture, and actually connected me to many opportunities. I particularly want to acknowledge Dr. Andy West, Rick Christie, who are here, around whom the young man that you saw up on the video, Han Chen, has built one of the world's leading agricultural biotechnology companies from technology created right here by AgResearch and at Massey University, and which today is a global company in the food space, all again built off New Zealand technology. I remain very passionate and a huge believer in the possibility of what we can do out of New Zealand and proud to represent New Zealand abroad. Kia ora no tātou. Well, thank you so much, Adama. Such an incredibly relevant field of work for a country like New Zealand. And when you're away from the country for more than 3 years, 20 years, 15 years, 60 years, it's just incredible to hear the waiata that somehow brings us back to home, sweet home. Now, I didn't think I needed to bring my glass of wine, but it seems like I still need to bring that empty wine on board. Just stay with us for a wee while longer. We are coming up to our interval. For Adama,
crew all taking their seats at the moment. We're now going to actually take a short break, I'm being told. And this break is all about networking, which I'm clear and I can hear you all doing, which is fantastic. So do move around the room. If you see some familiar faces, do go over and say hi. We do ask you to come back in about 30 minutes, and we will continue the awards ceremony from there. Enjoy. Ladies and gentlemen, if you can just make your way to your seats again, we are about to commence the second half of our award ceremony. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. If we can just make our way back to our seats. Thank you. Talk soon. Keep going, keep going. Ladies and gentlemen, if we can just take our seats, please. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, please find your seats. Oh, this is crazy. Rightio, folks, yes. Need a bigger glass, I've been told. Can we all find our seats, please? Ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, one more time, can we please make our way to our seats? Thank you. Everyone's got their glasses, all making your way. Thank you. Almost there, folks. Almost there. Take your seats. Thank you. Thank you to those who have just taken their seats and are listening. If you've got people around you, could you just give them a nudge and just tell them to quieten down or take a seat? That would help. But thank you for those who are listening and taking their seats. Thank you. There we go. Brilliant. Thank you. Just while I've got your attention, just a bit of a sound check. I understand I've just been given some feedback that those down the back are finding it hard to hear me. Can you just raise your hands if you can hear me now? Great, that's good. So clearly silence is the key to all this. And not that I'm pointing out, but if we can just have some silence. We've got three more awards. And these are awards that mean a lot of their family members and them themselves have travelled from all corners of the world to come here. And many of their parents or their loved ones that are here have said to me that they really want to listen and see their loved ones come up to the stage and be able to listen to their thank you speech, but also, more importantly, watch the video clips that are playing. It is only 3 more awards, folks. And it really is just a bit of house rules as well. A reminder that we are all grown-ups in this room. We have only got about 45 minutes to go on the award ceremony. I'm not asking you to watch Lord of the Rings. We're not here for 3 hours. It's just 45 minutes. And all I ask is for you to show a bit of respect, to quieten down, and also just remember, when you talk to your neighbour, 50 other people will start talking to their neighbour. And then the noise just builds and builds and builds. And it becomes so hard. And just again, to remind you all, it's not easy to stand here and speak in front of a room of strangers. Not for me, not for our award winners, and certainly not for our London crew who are watching us. We are Kiwis, we are better than this. We don't talk throughout an award ceremony when someone comes up and collects an award. We do not do that. So again, if anyone starts talking throughout the awards and they're at your table, please just give them a nudge and just say, quieten down, we have got some important awards to continue with. Now, I came up here 5 minutes early, actually, to get your attention because I knew that it was going to take a while. So I thank good friend Simon Dello here who gave me a tip, and obviously that worked. Not only a silver fox and dapper tonight, incredibly talented, and also it just makes me sick that he looks that good sitting there, but yeah. Thank you, Simon. We will continue with the awards. A huge welcome back. I hope you did make use, well, I clearly saw you, and connecting with everyone around you. Don't forget, just a quick reminder that we have got the photo booth over there. Do make use of it and take some photos. Post them up on social media and enjoy the rest of your evening. Stay with me, folks. The noise is creeping up again. Stay with me. We're doing good. Our next award is being given out posthumously. Folks, again, these are important awards and just need your attention. Our next award is being given out posthumously to a key member of our community who recently passed away. To present this award, I'd like to invite Care Global Chair to the stage once again, Phil Veal, and Care Board Director Craig Donaldson up onto the stage.
Thank you, everyone, for your patience. Daniel, that is amazing. Look how quiet we are now. Phil and I are very excited about this award. This is a good sort award for someone in our global expat community who is no longer with us. An impactful life that connected thousands of Kiwis in New York over 40 years. Our next world-class award winner is Jeff Andrews. So Jeff was a good mate. He's a dear friend to many of you in this audience tonight, a Navy man, a rugby representative, and most importantly, a fatherly figure of hundreds in the New York community over many years. Whether you're a New York resident or a tourist or a Kiwi pitching business or simply a lonely Kiwi in a bar, Jeff would make you feel like the Big Apple was home. He ran the Kiwi Club, the annual Kiwi Picnic, Anzac Day Dawn Service, Kia New York, wrote a newsletter every month, and hosted dozens and dozens of events of influential Kiwis to inspire them all to take on the world. Jeff had some really bad dad jokes. But he was a man with a big heart and a joy for New Zealanders. He passed away last year at the age of 72, but he leaves a legacy, a role model to help others. The best thing that we can do to honour Jeff is to inspire, connect, and to help others to be the best that they can be wherever they may be in the world. I now pass over to some videos of some world-class New Zealanders that knew Jeff very well.
I knew Jeff Andrews for 20 odd years. He rang my wife when we were in Wales, asking for rugby tickets. And we've been friends ever since. He just collected New Zealanders all around the world and supported them and helped them, and it was fantastic. I had about 3 trips to New York, and he looked after us there. We had a special time with the All Black coaches. We went there to visit the 3 major sporting franchises, and he looked after us, and he had a special function in a hotel where all the Kiwis came. Another time we had a big social event at one of the very successful Kiwis in New York. So he's a fantastic man, just bringing Kiwis together. A fantastic New Zealander who supported New Zealanders all around the world. That was Jeff's community.
One of the first times I met Jeff was around 2005, and soon after meeting him, he sent me an email asking if we would host Josh Emmett along with him and welcome other Kiwis into our home to hear about Josh's career and aspirations. That was the first of many events over the years with Jeff. Jeff was the most amazing connector, and any prominent Kiwi that was coming to New York, he would convince them to speak and spend some time with the community and inspire them and let them know what was happening in their careers back home in New Zealand or beyond. The other thing Jeff was amazing at was with people that weren't known in their careers yet, that were just starting out and hitting New York. He would try and connect them with people that had been in the city a little bit longer and try and help them get inroads, in, whether it be on a business front, on a place to stay, whatever it was. And he just had a joy for people and a joy for New Zealand. And so the legacy that he's left for me, and I know for so many other people that he's touched over the years, is to continue to say yes, to continue to try and inspire others, to continue to help Kiwis be the best they can be, no matter where they are and where they're starting out.
So I first met Jeff back in 2008 after winning the Indianapolis 500, and part of the tour was going to New York and hitting some of the media outlets. And Jeff was kind enough to put on an event at a local pub there with a bunch of Kiwis and get to catch up, and later went on to doing another big dinner for the whole team at Watkins Glen in upstate New York. And what he did for the expat community was just amazing. But a dear friend, someone that I'll definitely miss. Unfortunately, with the crazy times that we all live in now, you never really get to catch up as much as you would like to. But I just want to say big love to Jeff's family and friends and everyone, and he'll be deeply missed.
Proud to call Jeff a mate. We're going to miss him. Like any good Kiwi, Jeff would be a little bit embarrassed about this if he knew what was going on, but a little bit proud as well. So it's my honour to welcome to the stage Jeff's wife, Nancy Gallagher, to accept the award on Jeff's behalf.
If Jeff was here, he'd say, oh, I don't deserve this. I don't belong with these people, especially the tech people, because he never understood tech at all. But his skill was people, and that he was excellent at. So I just want to thank you for honoring him, and thank you for remembering him, and please keep him in your heart.
Thank you so much, Nancy, Craig and Phil. Well, it sounds like Jeff will be missed by many of the Kia community. What an inspiration. It's now time to present our Friend of New Zealand Award. Now, this award recognises an exceptional contribution made by a person who, while not born here, nonetheless epitomises our mana and our Kiwi values. Though and through their actions, they have facilitated and grown New Zealand's global collectedness and used their international networks for the betterment of our land and its people. In short, they have advocated for our country with passion and with pride, taking Aotearoa to the world and the world to Aotearoa. This award will be presented by the Honourable Stuart Nash, a Minister for Small Business and Economic and Regional Development. Please help me welcome the Minister to the stage. And this year's award for Friend of New Zealand Award winner is originally from the US, but moved to Christchurch in 2005. Just before the first earthquake, she was responsible for bringing TEDx to Christchurch, and immediately following the second quake, she organised a further event which focused on the city's rebuild. This event was attended by global speakers, including people who had been instrumental in rebuilding quake-damaged cities such as San Francisco. Now, around this time, she also launched the Ministry of Awesome, a not-for-profit organisation which encourages the growth of start-up businesses in Christchurch. A few years later, she used her international connections to bring a panel of Silicon Valley experts to New Zealand for the country's first Singularity U Summit, a 3-day conference aimed at starting a conversation about our shared future, attended by top CEOs, business leaders, start-up entrepreneurs, and even school children. She then started BOMA, a company which uses extensive worldwide networks to help leaders to be more intentional, intelligent, and courageous about the future. As well as connecting the world to Aotearoa, she is also sharing our ideas on the global stage through her current project with the Canterbury Crusaders rugby franchise. Great team. That's my hometown, just saying quietly. This online course aims to pass on the learnings of the Canterbury Crusaders' success both on and off the field with rugby coaches and management teams around the globe. Let's take a look.
And so here I was, 2012. That was the year my marriage came to an end. You know, the earthquake had hit, and so there was a lot of kind of unsettledness here. And so there was this real moment where I was going, okay, pretty much all of my ties to New Zealand have just been severed, and I've got lots of things calling me back to the US. And that was the moment, my decision that this is my place. And so, so I became really intentional that this was home. This was my tūranga waiwai.
I think the incredible thing about her approach to TEDx to start with, straight after the earthquakes, was that there was a real sense that we could come together, we could learn from each other, but also invite people in and learn from them as well.
We ended up getting Art Agnos to come. Art had been the mayor of San Francisco during the Loma Prieta earthquake in 1989. So it ended up becoming an incredibly kind of impactful experience. He was able to share that insight with 20 years of hindsight of the decisions he made, what worked, what didn't.
She's injected that sense of optimism. She's injected that sense of confidence in ourselves. I can talk about Ōtautahi Christchurch on the world stage now, and I've literally just returned. People are really interested in what our city is doing, and we've got a lot of credit going Kyla's way for that.
So in 2018, with global colleagues and counterparts, we launched BOMA. And BOMA's purpose is to build a world full of intentional, intelligent, and courageous leaders.
When I see her work with corporates, organizations that, often men that don't look like me, who talk different, she knows how to maneuver in different circles. She is someone who knows how to bring people together.
We're doing a project in partnership with Crusaders Rugby. And this is a project called the Crusaders Coaching Leadership Program. And it is a global, online, cohort-based course for rugby coaches from high school to professional level, leveraging not only the Crusaders' incredible history of success in rugby, but also the Crusaders' incredible history in terms of dedication to culture and belonging.
You only learn what you remember, because you forget quite quickly. So you've got to keep telling those stories of how hard it was and how hard we worked and adversity and what we did along the way.
When I think about the work that I've done with TEDx and with Singularity University and now with BOMA, one of the mental pictures that I come back to over and over again is this idea of widening the pipes between Christchurch and the rest of Aotearoa, widening the pipes between Aotearoa and the rest of the world.
Please congratulate the awesome Kayla Colburn.
E aku nui e aku rahi tēnei te mihi mauhea kia koutou. E minita nash tēnā koe. Ki te whānau o kia, me tēnei kaupapa whakanui i ngā mahi a ngā tangata o te motu nei, me ngā tini homi o Aotearoa tēnā koutou. He mihi ki hokainga o tēnei rohe ara ko Ngāti Whātua o Rākei. He mihi ki a kingi tūheitia me tōna whānau. He mihi ki hokainga o taku kainga noho ki o tautahi, ara ko te hapu o ngai tuahuriri. Nā rātou aho i tiaki i ngā tau, me te atāhua o te manaki mai i a o me aku kaupapa maha. E te mare kura e hana, tēnā koe mō tō manakitanga, me tō whanongatanga ki aho. He mihi whakawhetai tēnei ki a koe. Ki toku tōpuhi e Gareth, nā rātou ko aku tama whakaangi, tō tātou whānau i whakakotahi, nō ku te whiwhi, tēnā rawa atu ki a rātou. Nō horana me poro nō ku tipuna, i tipu ake aho ki New Locker City, engari, he hononga hoki aho ki ake tina, ko Aotearoa te kainga ina ianei. Kei Aotearoa te whānau ina ianei, kei Aotearoa taku ngākau ina ianei. Ko Kayla Colburn toku ingoa, mauritu, mauriora tēnā koutou katoa. Dear friends, I cannot tell you how grateful I feel right now. I grew up in New York City, and when I moved to New Zealand, I had no idea what I was getting myself into. Seriously, I got here, I had never hung clothes on a clothesline. I had never manually adjusted the heat in my house. I literally could not tell the difference between a sheep and a goat. 17 years later, and I cannot fathom being anywhere else. And that is in no small part thanks to the opportunities this wonderful nation has given me. My work is Tinkerbell work. It requires others to take leaps of faith, to get on the roller coaster before I've even finished sketching it out, let alone built the prototype, to believe in me. In Aotearoa, I have found so many people who are willing to believe. Any contribution I have been able to make to this country stands on the shoulders of that belief. This award is for Michael, who first brought me here, for Gareth, who made us a family and turned our house into a home, and for every person who ever heard one of my harebrained schemes and replied, yes, I will take that leap of faith. Yes, I will get on that roller coaster. Yes, I believe in you. For me, this award is both a humbling honor and an ongoing commitment. I promise to do my best to continue to earn it every day. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kyla. Wow, that mihi was incredible. We're really glad that you chose to make New Zealand your home, so thank you again. I'd now like to welcome to the stage Professor Dawn Freshwater, Vice-Chancellor of Waipapa Taumata Rau, the University of Auckland.
Ena mana, ena reo, rorangatira ma. Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. Ko Dawn Freshwater tako ingoa, and I have the privilege of leading one of your finest institutions, the University of Auckland, Waipapa Taumata Rau. I want to start by thanking Daniel. Daniel has reminded us this evening, as has everybody who's accepted an award this evening, of the importance of connection, but also respectful connection. So I've been listening to the buzz in the room throughout the evening, and the urge that everyone has to connect with each other, to listen to each other, to be with each other, to share again together. And I was reflecting on that urge and the need to dampen it down a bit at times, and thinking about how easy it is to forget just how extraordinary this evening is. Extraordinary for many reasons. Extraordinary because we are all here together in this room, sharing the opportunity to be with and listen to each other. But extraordinary also because of the phenomenal people that we're celebrating here in this amazing country this evening. It's interesting to reflect on the last few years when the global pandemic has challenged that connectedness. Yes, we kept the connections. We kept the connections through time, through innovation, through commitment, and through determination. But at the same time, our pandemic experience has also served to remind us of the high value of face-to-face interaction. There's a zing and a happiness and happenstance to face-to-face meetings that can make things happen in a way that Zoom can't, that Teams can't, that virtual breakout rooms are yet to master. And let's face it, the famous saying, "You're on mute," is now forever etched in our history. So it means that for many of us in this room, and the Kia alumni abroad listening, that the importance of these global connections to Aotearoa New Zealand cannot be understated or overestimated. We're a country that's always been part of the world, and it's essential for our livelihoods that we continue to be globally active. It's part of our DNA. Yet in 2022, the impacts of climate change rain literally down on us. We must embark on our travel and that connection with deliberate purpose, with consciousness, and with a level of carbon consciousness that we have not deployed in our past. Our students expect it at the university. Our whānau deserve it, and the planet demands it. As Kia's global education partner, Waipapa Taumataro, the University of Auckland, we celebrate the value of a global mindset, of the aspirations that we've heard about this evening, of the connection and the pursuit of creativity and excellence. And we welcome the tensions that provide opportunities for imagination, curiosity, and innovation to flourish in the way in which we've heard about this evening. Our winners tonight embody these values and our globally connected future. Congratulations to them all. Tēnā koutou katoa.
Thank you for those words, Dawn. Well, now it is time for our Supreme Award winner in partnership with the University of Auckland. Now, this award recognises a New Zealander whose passion and commitment to grow New Zealand's mana fuels opportunity and delivers impactful ideas for the benefit of us all. It is given to a person whose exceptional achievements, personal qualities, and desire to give back mark them as an inspiration for all New Zealanders. Now, past winners include former Prime Minister of New Zealand and Administrator of the United Nations Development Programme, Helen Clark, multi-Academy Award winner Sir Peter Jackson and Lady Fran Walsh, an internationally celebrated chef and restaurateur, Peter Gordon, and of course last year's winner, visionary leader, Peter Cooper. Tonight's winner is an acclaimed actor, director, writer, and leading acting coach, both in Aotearoa and internationally. Her clients, hold it, wait till you hear this. Now, her clients have won and been nominated for Oscars, Golden Globes, BAFTAs, and Emmys. She has been appointed an Officer of the New Zealand Order of Merit for services to theatre and the community, and has twice been awarded Best Actress at the Chapman Trapp Theatre Awards. She was a pioneer of verbatim theatre in New Zealand in the early 90s and has taught in numerous acting and theatre schools around the world, including Toi Whakaari New Zealand Drama School, where she was head of acting for 7 years. Now, during the past few years, she has worked to keep the acting community supported and connected through a series of online workshops, events, and coaching sessions. She holds Board of Patron positions with the Performing Arts Foundation, Arts Access Aotearoa, and charities So They Can and Women's Refuge. Most importantly, she truly embodies the unique spirit of Kiwi connection and has used it to benefit the whole of Aotearoa, with many Kiwi actors crediting her as a key to their global success. Take a look.
An idea is going to come into your mind and you'll experience. Because of my family context, I fell into being an actor. But secretly, I always had a secret teacher inside me. And although I had a really enjoyable and successful career as an actor and then as a director, I think as I moved from being an actor to being a director, finally I found my true métier now, which is using all of those skills in what I do now, which is to be a coach, which is kind of a combo of being an actor and a teacher.
Miranda taught me so much as a young actor, things I still use to this day. And she's also just a really kind, loving and supportive person, and I feel so lucky to have worked with her.
I've known Miranda Harcourt since I went to Toi Whakaari New Zealand Drama School as a 21-year-old. I think working with someone like her at such a young age really imprinted something in me as a young actor. She made me believe that the whole world was for me and that being an actor was a possibility.
When I was at Toi Whakaari, I was like, okay, we've got to get these careers
global. We've got to lift up these young Kiwis, these young drama students, so that they can have a successful career not only in the tiny crucible of New Zealand, but make best efforts to get them connected up overseas. A guy from Pukekohe interned to Ariane Manouchkin, one of the world's great theatre makers. And that was because of the Kiwi network of willing, passionate people who want to help give other Kiwis a leg up, who are spread around the world, but you can reach out to them from Toi Whakaari New Zealand Drama School and say, do you want to help a young Kiwi performer step up and try and create an international career? Of course I do.
Been coached by Miranda for various roles, you know, and I know she's got a really strong perspective on me as a performer. She's seen my career develop, and I know her, so there's an implicit trust in her words, and I know that they are based in context, mutual respect and honesty, and I know that, and I can trust that with Miranda.
When I think of Miranda Harcourt, I think of three words: insight, integrity, and imagination. She's shaped my creative practice more than pretty much anybody I've ever worked with.
I think we are in the middle right now of the birth of new possibilities for Kiwi creative product to make its way offshore, because the world has turned around and looked all the way over to our corner of the Pacific and gone, you guys are cool. You're funny, you're talented, you're authentic, you're connected up, you're grounded, you have a special quality which right now the world is very hungry to see. And we've moved beyond the 90s and the early 2000s when it was all about slickness and everyone looking the same. Now it is about diversity, representation, authenticity, owning your story, being grounded in your story, and the ability to reach out and connect with other people. Kiwis are really good at all of those things. So this is our time. And in order to maximize our time, what do we have to change about ourselves in order to step up and step into that opportunity? Our sense of confidence in ourselves.
Please join me in congratulating our Supreme Award winner, Miranda Harcourt.
Kia ora tātou te whana o kia. Ko Miranda Harcourt ahau. Wow. I'm as amazed as anyone here to find myself on this spot. And I want to pick up on three words I've heard recently from this very podium. Imagination, from you, Dawn. Imagination, curiosity, and creativity. And you know what? I honor you, all the people who we've heard from tonight. Katie, Zion, Guled, Dave, Arama, Jeff, and Kayla. What incredible people. And as I've heard them speaking tonight, I feel so privileged and humbled to have the opportunity to stand up in front of you here this evening. Thank you, Dawn. Thank you, Cecilia. Thank you, Kia. And thank you, Auckland University Waipapa Taumata Rau. I'm truly blown away to be in the company of the incredible New Zealanders here tonight, including you, Sir Stephen Tyndall. Thank you for kicking this amazing thing off all those years ago. And the Right Honourable Helen Clark, long a hero of mine and an absolute legend. To win, and I echo you, Kayla, to win the Supreme Award is a gift and a responsibility, one that I'm going to honour as an opportunity to lift up my support of our nation's most valuable resource, our people, our potential, and our presence on the global stage, no matter what it is that we do and what dream we are chasing. New Zealanders make an outsized mark on the world in my field, in the arts, across the board in all the arts. And as Dave said, we make a dent in the universe. So what I say tonight is let's make more marks and let's make more dents. This can only happen when we shift the paradigm, when we start to celebrate our success more wholeheartedly, and then to use our achievements as an engine for greater success. As they say in physics, energy can neither be created nor destroyed, only converted from one form to another. And that is my job, converting potential into achievement. Whether it's working with inmates in prisons where my career began, using games to coach a performance from Dalit kids in a remote Indian village on the feature film Lion, or helping Hollywood stars create authentic connectivity for a story that will spur change, which is what I spend my time doing all day, every day. My work as an international acting coach is all about creating connection between you and the story, between actors and each other, between performers and their audience. It's about creating generosity of spirit, creating ambition, celebrating vision, and celebrating respect for each other's ambition. And that is at the core of what I want to achieve for New Zealand artists, is respect for their ambition and respect for their achievements on the global stage. New Zealand's borders are not defined by its geography, says Kia. There are nearly as many Kiwi offshore as the population of the South Island. Many of those offshore Kiwi are creatives like me and my whole family, from actors and directors to journalists, musicians, and writers. Creative Kiwi are smart, nimble, and resourceful. The New Zealand Film Commission knows that well, and thank you, New Zealand Film Commission, for your support here tonight and always. Yeah, right on. Thanks a million to my own very creative community, to our children, Peter McKenzie, Thomas and Mackenzie, Davida McKenzie, and Sarah Allen, and especially to you, my business and life partner and amazing creative collaborator, Stuart McKenzie. Thank you, Stuart, for everything that we do together. And everything you do to help me lift up New Zealanders in the creative field. Thank you too to my brother Gordon and sister-in-law Louise, who are here with us tonight. We are and always have been a multi-generational creative whānau. I feel very lucky to have grown up in an environment where my mother was an actress, my father was a writer and broadcaster, and so right from the very, very beginning of my life, I've understood what it is to pivot, what it is to not know what's going to happen the next day or the next week or the next month, to not know how much money is in your bank account, but to know that you're pursuing a creative dream and you have to use creativity, curiosity and imagination to be able to create a new future for yourself. That's been a lifelong action of mine and a lifelong dream, and I really want to help other people be able to achieve that as well. So I would like to finish by saying aroha from me to our 95-year-old mother, Kate, who can't be here tonight, obviously because she's 95, and also to my late father, writer and broadcaster Peter, who is always here with me. Aroha nui ngā mihi nui. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Miranda. It's so wonderful to see Kiwi actors and artists really taking the world by storm. So thanks again, and a huge congratulations once more to our Supreme Award winner, Miranda Harcourt, and to all of our winners this evening. Join me in congratulating each and every one. And just from me, just thank you for the last 43 minutes. Thank you for being patient and for listening, and also just showing respect. It makes a huge difference. It makes a huge difference. Now, dessert will shortly be provided by the caker and will be circulated around on trays right around the room, so stay where you are. They will come to you. We now invite you to make the most of the networking opportunities this incredible group inside this room holds. For those of you who... Oh, Nemo's soon. Here we go. Hang on, hold on. Just a few more minutes. Just when we got there, hang on. Hang on, just a few more minutes. We're almost there. 44 minutes, folks. It's 44, so we've got one more minute to go. For those of you wanting to connect this room and meet other people, please, one of the best places is to do that right now. Like, you've got tables around you with so many, like Miranda said, like Dawn said, curious, creative, imaginative minds in this room. And connection is what Kia has been teaching us and pushing to us this whole evening, not just here, but also with our friends in London. And so to do that, be sure to make your way around the room, meet as many people as you want, and enjoy the night. Tonight, very shortly, we've got a DJ. If you've got some boogie shoes, I know many of you are itching to get a bit of a boogie in. If you want a boogie, we've got a DJ, Jaram. He'll start spinning some tunes outside near the photo set, which is also open around 11:30. Now, just one more thing, folks, I promise, one more thing. I think we should pay and show our huge appreciation to the team behind tonight's awards. It is not an easy feat. To the Kia team, the videos, the stage, to the production team, to all our staff, the waiting staff, thank you so much for your time. It's been incredible. And on behalf of Kia and our generous sponsors, I'd like to thank you for being here and helping us honour our world-class New Zealanders. Nō reira, pō Māori e koutou, kia pai tō koutou haere, ka kite anō koutou a tērā tau. Good night, everyone, and thank you. Have a good night.